seems extraordinary that there's nothing that the coronavirus doesn't touch.
All see Black Lives Matter demonstrations.
Oppression is brought out.
So unfortunately, because I just feel like we're going down this road, we've been down this road before. Things like we've had.
Hello and welcome to Your Voice. My name is Gabriel Reno. Tonight's show is all about love in 2021. So fellas, does any of this look familiar?
How long have you not had a serious girlfriend?
Oh,
Has it been that long that you can't remember?
I think about 15 years.
Are you ill?
We are gonna get him a girl before your wedding.
Party! Alright. Come on.
You guys are early, so may as well get a drink at the bar.
She got the bar. She got the bar. Most people have a fridge, but she got the whole bar.
Is there any way that I'd be able to like contact you again? Because, you know, maybe job together or like, I just feel like the luckiest guy ever.
Okay. You know I said that I recognise this guy from somewhere.
She's the one. She's the one.
Well, that was a clip from the new film by Freddy Krueger called She's the One. I'm sure you at home recognized a few of those issues. But what did our own studio guest think? Well, here to tackle this tricky topic, we have CEO and founder Melon Matchmaker, Dio Israel. CEO of speed dating company Interested, Chloe Smith. And confidence and coach counselor, Richard Asamoah. Guys, it's a pleasure to have you with us. Let's talk about love in the 21st century. Going over to you first, Chloe. Do people base their relationship goals based on what they see online, like celebrity couples and some of the stuff that they see online? Do they base it on that?
I definitely think we do. Without realising, I think social media plays such a huge part in how we think our couple goals should really look like. I think that's quite a downfall. We don't know what the couple's been through to get there, so we almost try to mirror something that we don't know the journey. So I think that plays a really big part in some downfalls as well, you know.
Okay. So Richard, how much of our relationships should we put online, on social media particularly? Because I know what I've noticed a few times where a few people have put up pictures of their better half when they just go out dating, and the next few months, all those pictures are taken off. So is there some sort of set rule as to when we put stuff up and when we take stuff down, or should we be sharing that at all?
I think it all comes down to how comfortable your partner is with that. But I realise that some people have some specific love languages of general affection.
Absolutely.
And they would heavily appreciate that because it validates what they believe that this person loves me and is excited to show me off the entire world. So it all comes down to communication with your partner and know what they're comfortable with.
What are your takes on that, Dio?
I think, as Richard said, it's important that you understand your partner's love language. And if some people want to be put online and they want you to show them off to the world, I think that's something you have to acknowledge.
Absolutely. So before we get into that, I want to share a conversation I had earlier with Entrepreneur Shakes. Here's what he had to say. Should we keep our relationships off social media?
Personally, I totally think we should. I feel like when people start putting their relationships on social media, it opens up a universe where a lot of people can start then having their opinions on your relationship. And what you tend to find is when guys put their relationships out there on social media, whatever they may have done in the past, or whatever they might have done in the past in terms of like past relationships, if they might have hurt the past girlfriends and stuff, once they see that you start treating a new person differently, then obviously that riles them up a certain way. So what tends to happen is your past always catches up to you, and people can get involved in your new relationship, and also it can create a wedge between you and your actual partner because the hearsays and the comments that they might read, especially if you're two people that are popular. Personally, I wouldn't like to post my relationship online. And to some people, they might be like, oh, what you hiding? Or why are you not showing your girlfriend or your partner? For me, it's not about that. It's just about my relationship, something intimate. So it's like the same way you don't post your mother, your father consistently online. It's the same way you shouldn't really post your partner online. You should keep that way private. So then your online presence and your home presence is two different things.
So Dio, should we separate, putting stuff online to actually dating? And can it be conflicting sometimes?
I think it can be conflicting. Personally, I'm a very private person, and it all depends on really how you are as a person. Some people prefer to be private. Some people prefer to show people their partner off to the world. Personally, I think it's best off private, right. And your relationship doesn't have to be there for the public domain, for people for judgment. And also, as Sheikh just said in his video as well, it can lead to problems. There are a lot of downsides to putting yourself on a public platform like that.
Right. So, Richard, if you're about to get into a relationship and a woman says, I like to show off my man online, and you're not particularly interested in that, how would you manage that sort of relationship, in the sense that she's told you at the very start of your relationship? Can that make or break a relationship if she wants to kind of show public displays of affection?
Well, she wouldn't be my female if I wasn't 100% confident with her showing me off. End of, like, if there's any doubt as to why I wouldn't want her to show me off, or I wouldn't want her to display affection online, there's probably something hidden that, could be a make or break for the relationship. So I think that's...
Well, Dio says he's a private person, so he just wants to keep his relationship private. I'm sure there's nothing wrong with that.
100%, 100%. And I believe that there's many benefits that come with that. And also, when we realize that social media and technology has so much integrated with our lives that we can't even at some points decipher the difference.
Right.
We can realize that it's quite challenging to know what is private and what is public and where's the fine line. I don't really like posting my parents up online, but sometimes I like doing that because, I just really want people to know that I really love and appreciate them.
Yeah. So, Chloe, are there other ways we can show appreciation for our better halves without having to show them online?
And definitely, again, just touching back to knowing your partner's love language, I think it's important that you know what it is that they want. You can do so many things without everyone knowing. What's that mean that says that you don't know who I'm with? I could be posting, but you don't know if I'm with someone. So there's definitely different ways that you guys can do between yourself. It doesn't need to be online, but like Richard said, we're so caught up in an online focused world that we almost feel like our every next step needs to be publicised.
And do you think some of our celebrities, some of the people we look up to, the Burna Boy, the Steph Londons, the Kanye West, all these people, do you think that they actually put pressure on individual people who use social media to kind of post up? Because they're posting up, they think it's cool to post up.
I wouldn't say pressure, it depends on the person, because I wouldn't see it as pressure, but it is a platform where they let you know it's acceptable, so everyone almost goes to do it. But I think depending on where you are or what you've been through, you know where to draw the line, or what's good for it, or what's conducive for social and what's for yourself.
Yes, definitely. So more and more people are going online and finding love on social media. Is that making us as individuals less sociable, do you think?
I think so. I'd probably agree with that, because I feel that communication is probably at an all-time low in terms of real life communication.
Well, people are messaging each other, that's a form of
that's
communication.
online communication. And that can affect relationships as well, because a lot of people, communication is very important in a relationship. It's probably one of the most essential components.
Right.
So if a lot of people are too busy communicating online rather than with your partner, then that can obviously affect the relationship.
But if you're in a relationship with your partner and obviously you're texting each other, surely that's a form. I mean, are there other forms of communication that tends to suffer? Is that what you're alluding to? The fact that, because you're texting and social media, you're so used to texting, that means, or are there other forms of social media?
I feel like a lot of people spend a lot of their lives on Instagrams, on the Twitters, on obviously Facebook from before. I feel like social media dominates a lot of our lives, and it takes away from our real life experiences. Right. And this is something which is accelerating as
Right.
well, so it doesn't seem like it's going to stop anytime soon.
Right.
So I think it's something we definitely need to be mindful of, because at the end of the day, real-life relationships and real-life communication is imperative, essentially.
Right. Rich, so how important is it to get that balance right of being able to kind of do social media and also have like probably private time with your better half?
I think it comes down to the purpose of the relationship. You know, every solid relationship is built on purpose. Like, I would like to have, you know, discuss the purpose of my relationship with my partner and understand that if I have things to do in the public eye and she has to be seen in the public, she needs to be able to step up and, you know, look good and present herself and add value to the public eye as well. But also we have our private time where, you know, it's intimate and no one ever gets to know. All my mentors and role models, they have very powerful females. You've heard that quote, behind every powerful man there's a woman. You know, they can do the job online, which again, you need to be online to make money. You need to be online to reach out to people and connect and to, you know, create a new level of emotion. But you also definitely, for your own sanity, need to have that private sanctuary.
Right, right. Is that true? Do you allude to that? Is it? Do you have to kind of be able to kind of separate the two, or get your balance right? So how do you find that balance? Because people could get caught up with social media on many levels. But how do you find that balance, Chloe?
Again, definitely needs to be balanced. I think it depends on the individual. I can't tell. There's no manual to say, look, guys, this is how you do it. But between you and your partner, you should be able to find that neutral ground where you know when to turn off social media, get together and do what you need to do. And then when it's time to enjoy ourselves, we can do that. But I think definitely, like you said, just find that balance. I couldn't tell you how, but it's knowing your partner. If you know your partner well enough, you should be able to find that balance, definitely.
Good stuff, thank you. Thank you. So we're going to take a short break now, but when we come back, join us again for part 2 where we'll be continuing the conversation. See you in a few minutes.
You will all die if you don't make a move to safety.
They have your wife in your house, and they're going to kill her in 3 hours if you don't return the flash drive.
I want to see his body.
I have a plan. Trust me, it would work.
Shoot her. Must we fight amongst ourselves in a place we claim to be hiding?
At World Remit, we understand what the journey is about, how it can sometimes take a little distance to bring us a little closer together. With ways to save more when you send more, World Remit is here for you, so you can be there for them.
Strength is man, ineptious, fragrance for man.
Oi, cut it out.
Man is...
Oh, what's happening?
Forget all this nonsense and use your nose. Aftershaves, deodorants, and roll-ons, they're all about smelling good, not success. Or being someone you ain't, so grab yourself some brew. It just smells good. No messing about.
It's the world #1, the Life Boys. Well, if you ride it and you twist it, if you pick it or you pin it, then you splash it. When you bump it, can you bump it? If you push it or you push it, then you bish, bash, bosh it, Life Boy.
You fail, you learn, so you can win when it really matters.
Did you know your favorite food and drinks may be eating your enamel, causing it to weaken in the long term? Acidic foods can cause enamel loss, which can lead to sensitivity and yellowing. Pronamel helps protect teeth against enamel loss. For strong, healthy teeth, Pronamel.
COVID-19, especially the new variant, is spreading quickly across the country. This puts many people at risk of serious disease and is placing a lot of pressure on our NHS. Once more, we must all stay home. If it is essential to go out, remember, wash your hands, cover your face indoors, and keep your distance from others. Vaccines give clear hope for the future, but for now, we must all stay home, protect the NHS, save lives.
Welcome back to Your Voice with me, Gabriel Reedy, where we're discussing love in the 21st century. In this part, we're going to be talking about expectations on both sides of a relationship. Before we get into that, I want to share a conversation I had earlier on with relationships expert Chengi Tobun. Here's what she had to say. Can you have privacy in a relationship? And by that I mean, could you have to give all access areas to your significant other in terms of giving access to your mobile phone, your social media account and all that good stuff? Or are they two separate things?
I think that they're two separate things. I mean, it depends. Are we talking about trust? Because that's a whole different conversation, right?
Because that's what it really boils down to, doesn't it? Trust.
Yeah, absolutely. It comes down to trust. To answer your question directly, my views on that, my personal views on that, probably professional as well, is that privacy is absolutely necessary to keep the chemistry going. I think that any relationship that's gonna have chemistry needs to have a bit of mystery, but that mystery is not based on a lack of trust.
Right.
Make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I do think that it should be absolutely fine for one to keep, I wouldn't recommend that one would ask for their partner's info. I think there just has to be that trust. So usually if a partner is going to be asking for codes, then we've got a trust issue, not a privacy issue, because I do believe that there needs to be some things that are private. Yeah.
So the other question I've always been curious about is, when does a lady pick up the tab? I mean, as a man, I can understand first dates, the man picks up the tab, or if you're just getting to know each other and you met on social media or you met online and you both decide to go out. I think both parties should to pick up the tab. That's my opinion. What's yours?
Well, darling, I'm very traditional, old-fashioned. To be fair, I truly believe that has to do with whether or not you are in your feminine or masculine, or the nature of the situation. But I truly believe that if the gentleman courts the lady and it is gentlemanly to pay the tab, I don't think that a woman should have to, because her investment is different. I think that men and women's investment is different. I do believe women should give back, and I do teach my women to give back in appreciation. But it's really about whether the man wants to show up as an alpha masculine leader, or whether he is happy to be a beta male, which is how he will read to a feminine woman if he requires her to pay.
So how does a woman show their appreciation if the man picks up the tab?
It's really in the small things. I think that men in general don't mind picking up the tab. What they do mind is a woman that feels entitled to it.
Right.
Right. What they have a problem is with a woman who feels like, well, you should, and therefore doesn't say thank you, appreciate that, and really makes him feel great for being that gentleman. And there are ways too a woman can, there are things that men want that women can give. Validation. She can buy him a gift, something meaningful to him. Maybe he was mentioning something about a new sport he wants to do or something he's passionate about. She can buy him a gift within that area. So there's so many ways. She can cook for him.
Right.
She doesn't have to take him to dinner. She can make a nice meal for him. So there are ways that, but again, this is all about feminine and masculine energy and who flows in what direction. There are men who are stronger in their feminine energy and would prefer the woman to take the romantic lead and therefore to pay, but then she is now the masculine in the relationship and the lead.
So is there ever a time where a woman actually picks up the tab, finally?
I think when you are in a relationship, yeah, absolutely. Right. When you are in a relationship, I kind of look at relationships at 3 phases. You got the dating phase, and that has to be led, can be and should be led by the masculine lead. He's leading that dating situation, then when a couple are in courtship, then things can balance out a little bit more. And when they're in a marriage, then money is our money, right? So it no longer becomes who's picking up the tab, it's our tab.
Still with me in the studio, I have the terrific trio, Dio Israel, Chloe Smith and Richard Asamoah. Before we unpack some of the stuff that Chengi has eloquently said in that VT, why don't you all tell me, starting with you, Chloe, what you all do?
Well, I run on the side a company called Speed Dating. It's just the interest is speed dating, just a platform to allow people to come together and get to know each other. Besides that, I do marketing, commercial for L'Oreal, so I work in beauty. Right, okay. I do a few other things. I do styling online.
Nice.
Yeah,
talents.
But I have to be.
That's good. Richard?
Well, my passion is just, reminding people that they're designed for greatness. I feel like many people forget that. I do that by online school tours, helping the young generation, mentoring kids, speak to corporate companies, and providing people with online skills so that they can pick up as well. They can provide for their families. But most importantly, my main passion, like I said, is just enabling people to realize that they're designed for greatness and they should take action on whatever vision they have. That's my passion. Obviously, we have other entrepreneurial ventures, but that's what I really love the most.
Absolutely. Good. Dio?
I'm the founder and CEO of Melon Matchmaker. We are a dating service and dating app and matchmaking service for African Caribbean singles.
Right.
The idea is we've got a dating app for people who want to have, who want to get quick and easy matches, who want to meet people quickly, who want to start getting to know people quickly, and we've got a matchmaking service for people who want a little bit more private, intimate service.
Right.
So essentially, if you're someone who likes a public profile, we can cater to you. If you like private profile, we can cater to you too.
Okay, good stuff. So let's now go into some of the stuff that Chengi said. I'm going to go to you, Chloe, first. Privacy in a relationship. Can we have that? Is that a thing? Should we be giving our other halves access to our social media, our phone PIN numbers, all that stuff? Or are we conflicting the two privacy and trust issues?
Yeah, I definitely feel like privacy is important. We need space. Also, it damages trust. Why do I need passwords to his phone? He should know what he needs to do and then everything should be fine. I definitely don't think we should be having... If he wanted to check my phone, that's not a problem. But to have passwords to constantly check, why are you checking?
Exactly.
And that's where you need to really sit down and be like, okay, is there something we need to sort out here? The trust isn't right. But I definitely feel like you should have space, privacy. I'll put those two together.
Okay.
Because it's really conducive for a relationship.
Okay, space, privacy, Chloe says. What are your thoughts, Richard?
I really believe that, if you're really one with someone, like this is someone who you are heavily invested in, I believe you should share everything. You share me, I share you, so why can't we share everything? What's the difference?
You can share, that's a different word. I don't mean not share.
I share my password
having space, you can have it, but how often? Why do you need to check it? That's my question.
You don't really need to check it because, if you're my girlfriend or my wife, then you're solid. And hopefully via communication, which is the most important thing I realized in a relationship, but just for you to understand that I really love you and I'm down for you. And so you can do whatever you want. I don't care. That's what I really want. I think like relationships need that.
What's your take on that?
I also think that if you find yourself wanting to check your partner's phone, there's a problem.
Yeah.
And I also find that you probably will find something you don't like. Whether
you go search
Mel group chat, or
you
where the guys are talking.
You just like
exactly.
Liking someone's photo on social media can also be deemed as a crime, right?
Yeah, I think that's a crime. Yes.
So you can't see a guy's picture, Chloe, and like it if you're in a relationship. What do you think?
No, I think you can, but it depends what picture you're liking, guys. What's your caption? What's going on there? Be smart with what you're doing. I don't know if it's like it's something
a beach body.
Yeah, or like you're doing something, or the caption's like, like water emoji or something. I don't know. The emojis be triggering. Just be careful with what you're liking, Just have respect for your partner, because I always say, what would I like? I need you to replicate the same thing.
Right,
so
okay.
I don't think there's nothing wrong with it, but again, it's just knowing your partner and what you guys like, what your boundaries are.
Okay.
Understanding.
Okay. I also asked Chengi there about picking up the tab. You know, as a man, you know, you go out. If you are meeting, you guys do. I mean, you do social media dating, and two people are coming together to meet for the very first time. Why should it be the responsibility of the man when both of you have agreed to meet on that first date, which you don't know where it will go? But it's important to kind of have an understanding that, okay, for this first date, I don't know whether we're going to be a couple or not, but it's important that we both kind of meet halfway for this first date. Is that a bad thing or a good thing?
I think that traditional gender roles come into play here. And chivalry and courting definitely play a part. And although, which is a great thing, women have been liberated in recent generations, which is fantastic, they still expect to be courted, and there has to be an element of chivalry involved in the dating process.
Okay.
So I think that if you're going out on a date, especially, it's very likely that a man's going to ask the woman on a date. I feel that it's fine for him to take. I think it's perfectly fine for him to pick up the tab.
Okay, even though it's just a first date and it might not go anywhere.
Yeah, 100%. You got to pick up that. You got to pick that up.
I also think that I feel like women naturally look for cues for security.
Stability.
So you want to show a woman, if you're seeing a woman, you want to show her that you can lead and you can be secure in that sense.
Stable.
David though said, if you don't have money, hide your face. So if you're not picking up the tab, you don't have money, so you need to not go on that date.
But okay, so that means we're making quite a few assumptions here. We're making, I mean, like, just going back on what you just said, if you don't have money, hide your face.
Yeah.
What if the woman also has money?
Yeah.
And even if the woman turns out to have more money than the man, is it still expected, even if the woman's financially buoyant?
I think money could equate to different things. Obviously, stereotypical money is actual currency, but money is also your swag, your bravado. Like, if you ask the lady to come out with you on a date, you have to pay because you are the man. Take action on your dreams.
I understand that, but the question I'm also asking is, what about... No, not even that. It's a first date that you never even know where it's going to go. You might, after that date, you might not even meet each other again. So why does the man have to pick up the tab when both parties have agreed to meet, just to kind of get to know each other?
I still agree that he does.
Okay.
And not to be mean, but more just like you said, traditional roles, just knowing that you take lead. I think a lot of women, even though we may be powerful and independent, we still like a man that takes lead. I just look at it as how my dad would look after me, take lead, make me feel safe, make me feel stable. I still want that from you. Even if we don't go far, at least you leave a very good first impression. You know,
So
also, guys, don't go and kill yourself.
Sorry,
guys, don't kill yourself.
We're going to have to take a short break. That's the end of part 2. Join us after the break, where we'll be turning our attention to whether you really need to love yourself before you can love anyone else. See you in a few minutes.
Got me running like a mascot. You know I gotta steal you like a mascot. We can pass the doobie do a rasta. Yeah, we can skip the movie, let me cast ya. Yeah, pull up and shoot. Girl, you cute. I am a kid. That is my youth. Whoa, girl, you a peach. That is a fruit. Pull up and that is my root. Girl, let me snap you like a cannon. Yeah, we can make a movie like it's Chaplin. Yeah, these people want a pirate like I'm captain. Yeah, I don't give them 5 like it's Jackson. Still hit you up with 1%. Yeah, my hoodie still got your scent. Yeah, you 11 on a 1 to 10. Yeah, you the type I wanna show my friends.
This lagoon rarely dips below 30 degrees. Surrounded by lava rock, these reviving waters are brimming with minerals and full of magnificent bubbles.
Flip your neck. I'm a new woman.
Radox Mineral Therapy. Life's better with bubbles.
Cook less, live more.
Get prescription glasses from just £6 a pair at Select Specs.
the online optician with over 27,000 five-star reviews. SelectSpecs.com.
You switch broadband. You binge the whole series.
Visit uswitch.com now to see if you could get a better broadband deal.
Heard about GoDaddy's online store builder? Build a website and start selling whatever you do online with GoDaddy.
Did you hear what he said to his mates last night?
It isn't a real meal without meat. Let me show you this.
With no veggie stock, it's going to taste smashing.
Yeah, mate.
Well done.
Oh, would you look at that? A changed man.
Meat-free, made mouth-watering by Knorr.
Introducing Tuco, the king of all apps, bringing every service imaginable under one roof. Imagine having one single app that could do everything you've ever needed. Tuco is an all-inclusive app where users can shop for all their needs right in one place. Need to do your grocery shopping, hire a taxi, find a plumber, or even a hairdresser locally? We've got you covered. Not only will Tuco make life easier by bringing all your needs into one place, but we're helping thousands of local service providers to reach new clients and grow their business. With Tuco, we've got everything you can ever imagine. Get ready for things to get a whole lot easier. It is the go-to application for every possible need. Now you can even shop at the mall without ever leaving the comfort of your home. Collect or get things delivered to you at your own convenience. Download the app today and discover why it's everyone's favorite app. Now available from App Store or Google Play. Get connected.
Hello and welcome back to Your Voice, where we're talking about love in the 21st century. Before we get into our next section of conversation, I want to share with you my penultimate VT guest, all the way from the United States. This is author and relationship expert, Shante Dunbar. Is it now time for women to start making the first move when it comes to relationships or trying to get into relationships?
Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with shooting your shot. If you see something you like, go after it. I always say a great way to approach someone is to ask them a question or give them a compliment. The point is to initiate the conversation. I'm not saying you have to follow through. I would leave it up to the man or the other person to meet you the other percentage, but definitely initiate the conversation for sure.
But is there a stigma attached to that?
For some, maybe. Some may think that it makes them look desperate or, you know, really, the new term, they're thirsty or like really eager to meet someone. But in all actuality, it's about showing that you're confident in who you are and you're interested in meeting someone.
Okay, so now you've made the first move, you're in a relationship. Is there such thing as love happily ever after?
You skipped a lot of steps, but yes.
I jumped fast forwarded.
You was on a fast track there.
Yeah.
But yes, love ever after is definitely feasible because as long as you're willing to, you know, always look for a solution with your partner, grow with your partner, accept them for who they are at every stage of the relationship, it can last a lifetime.
Right, okay. But, you know, some people feel like if they've been in a relationship for 10 years and it hasn't worked out, that is an unsuccessful relationship. And the reason for my love ever after question was, should we be discounting long-term relationships that have failed unsuccessful? Surely we should be counting them as successful relationships, albeit short-lived.
Yes, absolutely. Like people come into your life for reasons, seasons, lessons, blessings. So you should definitely always like cherish the moments and things that you learn. It wasn't all bad, right? So, you know, I don't think it would be considered unsuccessful if you decide to part ways. Some people outgrow each other, but when it was good, it was great.
Absolutely. Here to discuss this and more with me, I'm pleased to welcome back Dio Israel, Chloe Smith, and Richard Asamoah. So Richard, let's pretend a woman shoots her shots, just like Shante did. How would you feel about that?
Firstly, I respect that because, you know, it takes a lot of courage for ladies to do that right now. And, you know what, I don't sound cocky, but it's normal for that to happen now, to be honest with you. So I really understand how that feels. And I really just respect it, to be honest with you.
You're laughing. Why are you laughing?
I like the bravado.
Would you call that bravado? Because that's his reality.
That's his reality. Onto your question though, I feel that women definitely need to shoot their shot more often.
Right.
In the past, I feel women have been shooting their shot through telepathy before. So,
The odd stare or the long stare.
They just look at you, they just might look at your profile. I feel like it's important that women actually take the lead sometimes in this element, because you can miss out on the love of your life, or you can miss out on someone who could be very helpful.
Yeah, Chloe, at the risk of divulging your relationship status, have you ever shot your shot before?
No, I've never.
Why is that?
And not so everyone's looking at me, and that's just the truth. So guys, I'm gonna do I'm madam. I need people I'm used to people coming to me.
Really?
That's just the truth of it. I don't say that you shouldn't though. I think it's good that women shoot their shot now, but me, I wouldn't, because everyone I want, I will get.
Would you ever encourage your friends who are females to actually make the move?
Depending on the circumstance, guys, we go through a lot. There's some lists that we need to check off for me to then push the girls to go.
Right.
Because this day and age, you just can't. There's a lot of guys you can't trust, So. Yeah, thank you. So I just need my girls to be sure. We assess the situation, and then I will encourage them, but all depends on the circumstances.
But I mean, you see, shooting your shots for a female is completely different to a man. Let's be totally honest.
Yeah, it definitely is.
And the reason is, for a female's point of view, is you're actually just starting a conversation that wouldn't have started if you didn't instigate it. But for a man, he needs to start it and also try and end it somewhere he wants it to end.
Yeah.
So that's slightly different. So why wouldn't you start a conversation?
Okay, let me fix it. I would not do it, but I've not had to do it because it works naturally. Who I want, it naturally gets there, you know? I don't know. Does that make sense? Yeah. But I don't think there's anything wrong with it. So just sort of taking me out, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think it's quite nice. I think for some men that I've spoken to, they find it attractive for women to come and approach them and shoot their shot. They like the confidence. So I definitely would encourage it for them. But I'm a princess, so
you know what, I think a lot of guys are less mature than females. So when a lady shoots a shot at a guy, for a guy with a high level of emotional intelligence, he can respect that. For a guy who is just an average Joe, he can take that into something that's not what it is and be very disrespectful unconsciously. So I understand why ladies don't like shooting the shots. But ladies, if you like what you see, then take action on your dreams.
Gauge it first, though. Don't just send them into the lion's den.
So how do you gauge it, though? Because all you're doing is starting a conversation without knowing where it'll go. And men also take that risk.
You're asking me questions that I've never had to shoot my shot. But how would you gauge it? I guess body language, the vibe you're getting.
Non-verbal cues. Non-verbal cues is very important if a guy's watching you.
Yeah.
So if you throw a stare and he stares back,
just I guess body
indication of
language.
interest.
Yeah, some Nigerians are great at all of that, though, man. Does not mean that they're trustworthy.
Well, no, not just Nigerians. Come on,
Nigerians. I'm just saying.
I mean, there are people out there who are great at these things and just genuinely.
Of course.
I feel like women don't understand what men have been through in terms of having to make that first move.
What do you mean, rejection?
It's not always very easy.
No, it's true.
A lot of the time you might be rejected.
That's true.
You're obviously nervous to speak to someone for the first time in your life.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's the time women take.
So you want women to take most of the lead?
No, not most.
But just sometimes, women, you do
but
that.
I think there's something important that at the start of the show I mentioned, it's all about, how much does loving oneself play in this whole thing? Because if you love yourself, regardless of what the outcome of the conversation is,
you're still going to be good. Yeah, it's true.
Right? Yeah. So it's quite important, and I think honesty also plays quite a key role within that. Wouldn't you agree? How we should really be honest about our relationships, and kind of at the start of every relationship, we should kind of just be open and honest about it.
At the start? Do you think at the start, straight away?
Well, honesty, you should start as you need to go on.
I do think that communication is very, very important in a relationship. It's probably one of the essential components, and I think it's something which we're lacking as a generation right now in terms of communicating properly with our partners. Right. Transparency is important as well. But as you mentioned, honesty is very important. But I feel that people are scared to be vulnerable. a lot of the time. And that's a big problem in relationships because I feel like, if I'm going to be stereotypical, I feel like men especially are very scared to be vulnerable in front of their women. I feel like it's not always the case conversely,
But the vulnerability and honesty are two different things. Don't you agree?
Honestly, I definitely think you should. Maybe I'm just saying for my age, our age group now, I think it's important to, my honesty, how I'm taking it, is just to let people know what you're about, what's going on over here. So, you know, if you're stepping into my world, you need to step correct. If you don't want to, go, because it's less of a no tolerance over here now. We're a bit older now. So we have
you're absolutely right. And there is some sort of level, you know, because I understand what you're saying, Daya, because you don't want to kind of show your vulnerability at very early. And that does not necessarily mean not being honest.
Yeah.
Right?
No. Can I say something? Integrity and honesty are two different things. Letting someone know your true intention, I think that's more integrity than honesty. Okay. See where I'm coming from. But I will say this, there's 7 significant needs of human beings, and that is uncertainty, which is one of them, and certainty. If you give a girl every certainty that she needs in the beginning of a relationship, there's a high chance that you might not go to the next level because you've validated every single thing. So, you know, this is what you call game. I'm giving you guys 2.0 now.
I'm not sure about game. I'm not sure about game, but I'm here to listen.
Do you think we should leave some for a later date?
Yeah, you have to just understand, if you give someone all the gifts right now, that's Merry Christmas done.
But do you call honesty gifts? I'm just talking about being transparent from the
integrity,
beginning, but not
integrity should never waver if you're a human being with great character. Integrity should never waver. Your intention should be clear from the get-go.
Yeah.
But then how you reveal that, that's where the game comes in.
I agree,
Game time.
It's stages.
Yeah, you want to build it. It needs to be organic.
Yeah.
Okay, I agree. That's the end of part 3. Join us after the break when we'll all be asking the panel what they think the future of love and dating is going to be.
We are the early start. We are the beating heart. We are sons, daughters, husbands, wives, healing, supporting, saving lives. We are emergency admissions, difficult decisions, fascination, exploration, innovation. We're pioneers. We're over 350 rewarding careers. We are you at your very best. We are the NHS.
We are recruiting now. Search NHS Careers.
Strength is man, ineptious, fragrance for man.
Oi, cut it out.
Man is...
Oh, what's happening?
Forget all this nonsense and use your nose. Aftershaves, deodorants and roll-ons, they're all about smelling good, not success or being someone you ain't, so grab yourself some brew. It just smells good. No messing about.
Horse is ready.
New Cif Anti-Back and Shine kills 99.9% of bacteria and viruses, including coronavirus, and is made with a 100% naturally derived cleaning agent, helping to keep your home safe for the whole family. Cif, hello beautiful.
What's our most powerful weapon? Failure. Fail. Learn. Fail again. Learn more. And then win when it really matters.
HelloFresh meal kits. All the ingredients you need to cook delicious dinners delivered to your door. Order now at hellofresh.co.uk. Dinner solved.
There is so much to be made in this industry. If it is properly organized.
It's an industry that is very wide, and you can just find your feet in and you can make it work.
Over 90% of people in Nollywood, either behind the scene, behind the camera, or in front of the camera, everybody came to act.
For me, first of all, your dreams are valid. Whatever you can think, you can achieve.
We shouldn't argue. Hello and welcome back to Your Voice. In this final part of today's show, we're going to be looking at what the future of dating in the 21st century could be. Before we get into the views of our studio panel, I want to share with you a conversation I had earlier with a multi-talented presenter, DJ and actor, DJ Moore. Here's what he had to say. Can you actually start a relationship online without not physically seeing that person or not having met them?
Well, a lot of relationships nowadays are based offline, of being online, sorry, not offline, where it's a way of people getting to know each other. And especially, well, in these times now, I know there's a lot of friends of mine that are on dating apps, or even, you know, good old Facebook, that they make pictures, and you just kind of communicate. If you have certain things in common, you can kind of test it through the conversations that you have online. Sometimes you could say hi, and form some kind of conversation, and it's dead in the water. There's no chemistry there. But there's sometimes where personalities gel, and in a way, sometimes it's easier for the person to communicate online because they have that confidence behind them, right? In certain ways. Okay. Whereas, sometimes you may meet somebody in person and the same confidence that they had online, they don't really have in person, and it feels a bit awkward when you're actually having a date together and stuff like that. So I do believe that, if handled correctly, and the source is right, so that this person is who they say that they are, that's rather than like a catfish, then then there's absolutely no reason as to why you could not pursue dating online. There's people that I've hosted weddings for who met online. Right.
So is there actually a stigma? Is there still a stigma attached to finding love online now? Or is that stigma just gone?
I think in this day and age where everything's moved into digital, a lot of things have moved into digital. So the stigma is not so much because, everyone's doing it now. Everyone's doing it. The only stigma is, there may be certain apps that you feel like, oh, one's more kind of, sexual orientated than the other, or, other than that, it's just everybody's just getting on with it. Everyone's trying to find love. Everyone's trying to find a way to come out of their own loneliness. And, the apps are working. You speak to somebody now, no matter what kind of field that they're in terms of work-wise, professional, unprofessional, they'll tell you, half of them, or probably a good percentage of them, have been on dating apps. It's that simple. Would I be on one if I wasn't in my, wonderful married position now? I probably would have done. There's nothing that should stop you from trying to find the person that you connect with. I think that's most important. If you connect with somebody, it doesn't matter where you meet them.
Still with me on set, please welcome back one last time, Dio Israel, Chloe Smith, and Richard Asamoah. So, Chloe, is the future of dating going to be more virtual and digital? Does that leave very little space from spontaneous romance?
I think we are going in that way because, like we said, social media, we're quite dominated. Like, that's where our life revolves around. So I definitely think it is leading that way. Again, trying to find the balance between the two. I don't think you can't not find romance virtually, but it is a bit more harder. But we just have to go with how everything is flowing, I guess.
Definitely. What's your take, Richard?
Yeah, I think the world is moving so crazy. People might start, dating robots, falling in love with artificial intelligence.
Just on a low level.
I swear there's a robot out there called Chloe. It has a huge face and mouth and stuff. It's crazy. So I'm sure people can get excited. But 100%, it's a shame that a lot of people are more and more finding it challenging to meet people offline. right? But I respect what's happening online. You have a wider pick, wider variety. If you're in like Croydon and you can't see no one in your vicinity, but you go in your phone, like
you open up
and
to
you
a
open up the world,
yeah.
100%. You know, like he has such an amazing service that you can find so many people in the click of a button. It's quite awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. So Dio, can you actually have a relationship with someone that you haven't physically met?
Well, you can have the early parts of a relationship, of course, and online mediums have now taken the most popular way of meeting people now. Okay. If you look at Instagram, if you look at Twitter, if you look at obviously online dating apps, that's now the most popular way of meeting people. That's taken over from meeting through friends.
Right.
So you can start, like women tend to, we were talking about women before, they tend to shoot their shot more on their Instagram or Twitters and whatnot. So I guess you can have the early starts of relationships.
Potentially dating apps.
These are all dating apps.
I've never seen all of them before. I don't know what that is.
That looks scary. That was like Batman. You're trying to date that Batman. That one.
Yeah, and obviously dating apps have a lot of pros in terms of like you can meet people which you normally wouldn't have access to in your normal life. Yeah. It's quicker and easier to meet people. You can communicate without having to give out your mobile number. So there's a lot of advantages to online dating.
So what are the disadvantages?
There's obviously disadvantages in terms of there's a risk of deception, in terms of catfishes, in terms of people can lie about their height, their size, all types of different things. And obviously,
don't lie about your height, guys.
There's also the paradox of choice in terms of because we've got more options because of online dating. That also militates our efforts to actually choose or persist with one option.
Yeah.
If you look at online dating, you've got the whole world of access to you. If I want to DM Beyonce today, I can DM her today. She might not respond, but I like to think she would. But
even though you know she's in a relationship.
But you know what?
See, that's what I mean. This is bad now, guys.
No, on a serious note.
Stay away from those in
on a serious note.
Because you're in a relationship doesn't mean it's right.
The fact is, too many options has led to a paradox of choice, and also relationships have become more disposable as a result because you feel like you've got so much access.
Yeah, that's right.
Dio makes a very good point, Richard. Because we've got so much access, as our tolerance threshold for relationships dropped, where normally we would have had to kind of be more patient. But nowadays, because it's just like very disposable, we're just moving on to the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. And before we find it, we're just constantly finding forever.
I understand that. Like when you go on Instagram, different chemicals are released instantly into your body, right? So, if you meet someone and they release a specific amount of chemicals in your body, and all of a sudden, you're just not excited about that person anymore, guess what? You can scroll down and meet another person. But I guess, for longevity, being real, you have to meet someone that it's not just about the chemical release, it's about the character, the composure, the chemistry, and the long-term vision. So, it is quite crazy. Yes, you can meet a lot of people online. Very happy about that. I'm not restricted. I like to live in the land of abundance. But yeah, it's definitely important.
So Chloe, how do we kind of balance that and manage that? You're living in a land of abundance. How can you be a bit more patient and understanding that these things take time to build, and how do you spend more time just kind of nurturing a relationship to get to that stage where we are? Number one. Number two, in this period of COVID, people haven't been able to go out and meet people physically. So can you actually start a relationship, online without having to meet them?
I would say firstly, getting into a partnership and you're not ready individually is an issue. I think when you know yourself inside out, your self-love is up there, you know what you want, you know what you're willing to give, and you're in that place, it works a lot more easier. Being in COVID, I still think it can work. I almost feel like COVID's made the world stop, so you have no excuse not to not get to know someone. I almost feel like it's Big Brother. So we're in the house and we just have to scrap back to the basics. We've been stripped of all the extra curriculums and things to keep us distracted. So I definitely think it can still work, but you just got to be in that space mentally, emotionally, and also spiritually. That's for me as well. It could be for everyone else, in order to make that relationship conducive and organic.
So do you think that you can actually start a relationship without physically meeting the person?
I do think you can start the first stages, but you definitely need to meet them. Like I feel vibes. I need to be with someone together. So I don't know how far it can get with it being so real. But yeah, you definitely can start it off. And I also think it's, in fact, to be honest, starting it, not meeting, is a good basis as well. I've done it before, like when you just get to know someone, the person I'm speaking to now, like when you get to know them, without seeing them, you'd be surprised how much you learn. Then when you see them, it almost makes sense, you know. So the first steps, it can work, but after a while, you need to have physical,
Richard, what are your thoughts on long-distance relationships? Sorry.
You see a girl online, you know, she has a side me departing. You see her in real life, there's nothing there, you know. So you gotta be wary of that, you know. Those are just one of those challenging situations. However, again, as much as I want to be funny and hilarious, I have to be real. Purpose defines all. If you meet a person online and you two have a strong purpose, a strong connection, a strong vision, you know, how likely you're going to look over the superficial things. You know, you're going to look at the real reasons why you guys are connecting. You know, but if you're looking at someone from a lost perspective, you know, you could be disappointed because, you know, we can be who we want to be online, you know, and that's the challenging thing.
Yeah, just very quickly, being an expert, being the owner and CEO of Melon Matchmaker, how much of some of these online stuff being a bit more about physical, because you haven't met them, you have to base it on something, and it's all about the physical first, whether we like it or not. Yeah. How much of it is very physical?
That's another thing. That's another common with online dating in terms of online dating has led to more superficial meetings in terms of you see someone, you see how they look physically, and then you can swipe left or right. You can see if you like them or not based on their physical elements, and that can also be a negative as well. Right. Whereas in real life, you can get a vibe, you can get a type of vibe, how you relate with a person, and obviously that's not possible.
Don't you think it's still important though, that physical period?
Thank you so much, guys. That's all we've got time for. Right. It's been a very interesting conversation. Well, that's all we have time for on this edition of Your Voice. I'd like to thank my studio guests, Dayo Israel, Chloe Smith and Richard Asamoah, and of course all my VT guests today. Thank you all for watching. I'm Gabriel Renu. Look forward to see you again next week when we'll be finally, hopefully, into the presidency of Joe Biden, right here on Your Voice.
It seems extraordinary that there's nothing that the coronavirus doesn't touch.
All seen Black Lives Matter demonstrations.
Oppression